sort of advice saying advice on depression. General advice would be always be honest about how you're feeling with the people around you that care about you. So if you have parents that you're close with, siblings, teachers, friends, then if you're honest about how you're feeling or not feeling, as the case may be, then they can help you, because sometimes it takes that extra push to sort that situation out. Something else I'd say, it's an odd one. The reason I say that is because there's many different forms that it can manifest itself into. Sometimes it's physical, sometimes it's mental, sometimes it's like you're deliriously happy and the next minute you're down, and other times it's like a loss of identity and stuff like that. One thing that I would make it clear to everyone is that it doesn't make you crazy and doesn't make you a freak. I think the statistic when I went through it was 1 in 4. And that statistic has probably risen with the stigma around mental health being lifted slightly in today's society. So there is no shame in feeling down, but please understand that it is just for a period of time, and it can be triggered by anything. It can be a case of like a severe life event, it can be genetic, it can be anything. It can manifest itself so differently. Don't be ashamed of it. Do you know what I mean? Like, when I first suffered, it was a case of, oh, you're gonna be depressed for 6 months. Here's some antidepressants and some John's warts, and you have the option to go into counselling and you'll be fine. Mine was triggered by life events, do you know what I mean? And it wasn't the case. I dealt with it for over 2 years. No significant life events were happening, but I just wasn't feeling myself at all. Didn't feel good. I wasn't in a good place. I wasn't driven. Didn't want to get out of bed. Secluded myself. Didn't really speak to people. But I was very honest from the start with my mum, who helped me out through the process, and I refused drug therapy because I wanted to beat it by myself, which admittedly made the journey longer, but it made me a lot stronger as a person. So from a personal point of view, that would be my advice. It depends what type of person you are. Always be honest and decide what battle you're going through. If you want to go through something where you get it sorted out quickly because you're scared of what's going on, take any form of help you can. I personally took counselling. I thought that speaking about it was a more pragmatic approach, in the sense of sometimes you say things and when they come out of your mouth it either makes them more real or makes them ludicrous, and you start to make sense of more, and you learn about like the cognitive behavioural therapy of it all, in the sense that you can start to learn about life events and go, well, am I in control of the outcome of this, and am I not? If I'm in control of the outcome of this event and the outcome of it is upsetting me, then I'm to blame. It doesn't make me depressed, it makes me at fault. Say, for example, your life event was splitting up with a boyfriend or girlfriend, or a partner in general, or a fight you're having with your parents, or your results in school. Those are things you can control. You can study harder, you can be a better partner, you can be a better friend, I guess. But you have to think about it from a more cognitive approach and go, well, am I to blame for another person not being in love with me? Am I to blame for someone not wanting to be in a relationship with me? Not necessarily. It could just be a change of heart, a change of circumstance, the two people not working together very well. So you're not in control of that. So you're allowed to be down about it. It doesn't make you depressed. It makes you human. Every human has feelings. But a lot of those things can stack up, and sometimes it's just a case of needle in a haystack. So you're not normal. You're normal. You just have a chemical imbalance, and once your hormone imbalance, and once your hormones correct themselves and that balance is corrected, you'll feel right as rain. The length of my journey was the difficult part, because by the time I came out of it, I was a very different person. I did feel a lot stronger. I wasn't as extrovert, I don't think. But then very, very quickly after I came out of it, I got made Harvey's guitarist and was put in like a form of limelight straight away, which was a nice distraction and a nice test, and made it easier to deal with, because you learn a lot about yourself when you're in that situation. And I've never had the time or opportunity to relapse, because I've always kept myself busy, I'm always driven, I'm always in a project that I'm passionate about. But before that, I was just in education, and 2 years later, going through that process, made some bad choices, but then you come out of it and you're into something else. And it wasn't becoming Harvey's guitarist that changed my perspective on life. I was just sat on holiday. I wasn't particularly enjoying the holiday at all, but I was with a friend and another friend. I was watching them play a video game, and I sat there and I just felt like this weight lift off me, like physically and emotionally, and I looked at them and I just went, do you know what, this is the first time that I understand what feeling happy is. And the pair of them have been there through the journey, so they were like, wow, that's amazing. And it was just a moment, and I've not really looked back since. Obviously I felt down. Everyone has like bad periods, some more bad than others. But yeah, the scariest thing about it was, for so long, just being in this state of nothing. People say that depression's hard because you're sad all the time. It's not. The hardest bit about it is the not knowing the difference between sad and happy. That's tough. Because something you used to enjoy doing, or a hobby of yours that used to inspire you, now is just like breathing. And something that should destroy you, you take it on the chin, and it's an odd one. And it's just about getting those emotions back in check. And this is what I'm saying about cognitive behavioural therapy, in the sense of choosing what situations you can and can't control, and then dealing with the ones you can, and understanding that you're allowed to be sad about the ones you can't. Like, if someone made a timeline of my past 4 or 5 years, it's tough. It's been tough, but it's understandable for anyone trying to break into the industry. But some situations you're in control of, and you go, you idiot, shouldn't have done that. And other situations you aren't in control of, and you have to go, I'm sad about that, but it's not the end. It's not the end of my life. Like, we wrote a whole song on it. Don't Hurt Yourself is based on that principle of even when you feel alone, you're not by yourself. Because I know that that's like an instinct for a lot of people. Anyway, that's my advice and my personal story.